a forfeit at 285. And taking that forfeit for the Blue Jays is Kyler Brudford. Final score of this junior high contest, Perry 27 and Guthrie 45. The Blue Jays for the victory. Folks, we are going to take about a 10-minute break. Let these high school kids warm up for their duel, and then we will get things started for this varsity high school matchup, where the Perry Maroons are taking on the Guthrie Bluejays.
Diet Coke, got you. You want anything? You're welcome.
All right, folks, I just got word from the head coach that we are starting this duel at 7:10. At 7:10, we will do introductions for this duel. So it is 6:53 by my watch. We're going to have about 18 minutes, and we will start this duel. Go grab yourself a snack at the concession stand. Get yourself something to drink, and we will be back in 15 minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live inside of the Guthrie High School Gymnasium, where the Guthrie Bluejays are hosting the Perry Maroons in a high school varsity wrestling match. I'm your host, Sean Silvas, tonight, alongside Chris Wilder is on Ox Live inside the building, and Wager Silvas is on the score clock for us tonight. Lance Evans over there on the... Yes, that's Lance Evans. I get him and his brother confused. But Lance Evans is over there on the camera, and we're going to bring you this duel live. I apologize for the late start. We should have been going about an hour ago to feature the junior high, but we had some technical difficulties working through that, the first duel of the year. So things get started a little bit behind, but we are doing our best to get things on the road. I'm going to try to mess with some of these microphones so we don't get too loud on you. Last week, Monday night, we had the duel here. And again, had some things going on, so we're trying to work through them. But anyway, the high school duel is going to be the first of the year. We haven't dueled Perry since, I think, before COVID is what Coach Jaden Davenport was telling me. So this is a duel that has been won against Guthrie. But, Guthrie has done, I guess. And then now we are... It's been 5 years, I guess, since we've done it, but now we're back. So excited to see the Blue Jays in action tonight. It's been, some of the junior varsity kids wrestled some of the younger kids. Obviously, Team Guthrie, junior high, the girls all competed on Monday night, if you tuned into that broadcast. But tonight, live inside here, it's our first duel of the season. We get to see our varsity lineup, and that's going to be exciting. We're going to kick off with Joel Landry. Wrestled for us a little bit last year at 106. He's put on some size, and he's still 106, but at least he's closer to that weight. Last year he was weighing in the 90s, and now this year he is at 106 on the dot. So that's a good sign. Landry's putting on some size, or I guess Joel Landry is putting on some size. Connor Martin's going to kick off for us at 113, and he's going to be a new starter for the Blue Jays. And then Caden Herendine, state champion last year at 113, is going to be hopefully wrestling tonight. Now, Joel Landry's taking on Riker Ernest of Perry, and do forgive me, I don't have a good bolo on the Perry kids. Now, if you are a Perry fan, I appreciate you listening in. I don't know about accolades. I wasn't able to talk to the coach because of the technical difficulties, so I'll do my best to call what I see, but I don't know I don't know if we got state placers here, if we got seniors or junior or freshmen, but I will do my best to keep up with that. Anyway, 113, Connor Martin, the Blue Jays is going to have an open match. No one's going to be there, so we're going to take the forfeit. Caden Herendine, two-time state champ for Guthrie's taking on Tucker Vollmer. Now, we did see his brother wrestle, I think, in the junior high. I remember calling that name during the announcement, so we're going to get to see Caden. He's been at 112 for both of his state championships. Now he's bumping up to 119 or 120. So we're going to get our chance to see him compete at that bigger weight. Hopefully we still see that explosive speed. Caden's so fast, but it'll be nice to get a good preview of what to come with him. Aiden Smith at 125 is taking on Carson Avery. Aiden Smith, a longtime Team Guthrie wrestler. He wrestled for the junior high. He wrestled some last year for the varsity. Was trying to get down to the 112s, the 103s. It was very difficult. He had grown quite a bit. So he did wrestle a little bit for us last year, but then ended up not being able to hold that weight down. Just growing too much. It's what happens with high school kids. They start off small and they get bigger as their years go, and so he suffered there. But this year, got a spot for him at 126, so he's going to be wrestling for us there. Matt Mahalik at 132 is taking on Aiden Farrell. Now, Matt Mahalik, you might remember him as Matt Jairus, but over the summer, he changed his last name, and so now Matt Mahalik's still Matt Jairus, if you remember him. He's our one that came over from jiu-jitsu and has had a heck of a career. His first year he saw success. Last year he almost found himself in the state tournament. He was very close, really not just going to state, but placing there. There were some kids that he competed well with that ended up getting medals at the state tournament. So, another year under his belt, another year of experience. We can expect great things out of Matt Mahalik. So I'm excited to see him wrestle. I saw him wrestle down in the room on Sunday. I went to practice, and boy, he was looking sharp. So that's good. Luke Lyons, the Hammer, at 138, taking on Hayden Balderson. Luke every year just gets better. It's his junior campaign this year. Lucky for us, we're going to have him another year. I look for great things to come from him.
Just from a developmental standpoint, Luke always works his tail off. He's always getting better. This year I expect to see him have a ton of success. At 144, we've got Thomas Gyrus who's going to be taking on Riley Schlegel of Perry, and Thomas Gyrus, the brother of Matt Gyrus or Matt Mahalik. Now, what to note about Thomas Gyrus that I'm excited about is he came in as a very first-year wrestler and has beaten off the team several kids that have years of experience, and the reason he's done that is, again, because of his jiu-jitsu background. He has been a grappler for many years. It's a different style of grappling, but he has less wrestling experience but more grappling experience, so it's paying off. His development is super fast, and I say it all the time when Matt wrestles, but the jiu-jitsu, the grappling, a lot of the moves are similar, a lot of the positions are similar. The game is different, but once they figure out that game and what positions work and what they can and can't do, that's kind of an easy part. Those kids are smart. So they figure that out, and they figure out how to make that game work for them. So I'm excited to see Thomas make his debut on varsity, first-year kid, and he is a phenomenal wrestler. He's one of those guys that's going to surprise people. They're going to wonder where we found him, and, well, we found him in the halls. So that's going to be awesome. At 150, Aiden Harden is taking on Strauss. Forgive me if your parents are watching, but it's Strauss Catches. I'm trying to read Coach's handwriting, guys, and that is a difficult task, believe me. But anyway, Aiden Harden is going to be a freshman this season, started in junior high, comes from a wrestling family. His dad wrestled, his uncles wrestled, I believe his grandpa wrestled, and now his sister wrestles, his little brother wrestles, Aiden wrestled, and this is a wrestling-heavy family. Aiden now, I think, is in his second or third season and finds himself on varsity as a freshman, so we are excited to see Aiden compete here. He looked really, really good in the bronze and blue duel on Monday night. He took on another freshman. That was a really exciting match. Those two guys both looked very high level, and they looked really good. It was exciting. So I'm trying to wrap these up. We got a couple minutes before we're going to start things off. So at 157, Samuel Murillo's taking on Zane Ruth of Perry. Samuel is a new wrestler to me. I don't know him well. I think he's a first or second year kid that has been down on the room, but he's making the weight, and he's going to make his varsity debut tonight. And Clayton Carey at 165 is going to take on Andrew Kukuk. Clayton Carey, just a hammer of a wrestler. His older brother had a ton of success for Guthrie. His younger brother is wrestling at the junior high, wrestled a good match tonight. And Clayton is going to be on fire. Wrestled last year as a freshman, almost made state as a true freshman, and will come in as a sophomore campaign. He is bigger, he is stronger, he is better, he looks good physically. Mentally, he's always been very mature, and so this season I'm really excited to see what he's going to do, and especially tonight. His debut against Andrew Cook ought to be a good one. 175, Bryson Hall. We know that name. His older brother, state champ here at Guthrie. Bryson missed his state championship last year, had just an off match at the state tournament, really was poised to make that state championship and just fell short a little bit. Probably going to be taking on Hunter Minor, I would assume. They're going to bump someone to wrestle Bryson, but man, what a stud. He's looking great. He's bigger than he was last year, more athletic, stronger. He's on a mission. I really, truly believe he does not want to be the only Hall at Christmas without a state championship, and he is really putting in the effort and the time and just the dedication this year. Not that he hadn't the years before, but I think there's a little extra chip on his shoulder this season. 190, Roston Usselton or Wyatt Silvis is going to take on Cash Warren. One of those wrestlers will bump up to 215 to take on Marcus McPherson or Morgan Howson. Roston, freshman last year, wrestled and competed, wrestled a good regional tournament as well. Roston wrestled about a 500 season. He beat the kids that were at his level. He beat the new kids. He beat the freshmen and sophomore. When you're a big kid wrestling at varsity, sometimes you wrestle some 18, 19-year-old hammers, and Roston would have his handfuls with those kids. Now you look at Roston, he's more mature, he's bigger, he's stronger. He's one of those hammers, so I look for him to have a good season this year. Him and Wyatt Silvis have had some very close matchups in the rankings and at some tournaments. Roston's coming out on top, but Wyatt is brother of Wesley Silvis, who wrestled at this weight last year. So we're looking forward to one of those guys stepping up. And like I say, Wyatt has been progressing greatly. He came back to wrestling last season, and look for him and his name to be really catching on to the roster this year or next. Last, Tyler Powell is going to be wrestling at heavyweight for us tonight against either Abbott Tetic or Logan Cook. So let me, T-Pal wrestled for us last year, had some big matchups. So we are fixing to get this duel kicked off. I'm going to kick off here, and we will resume after the introductions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, find your seats. We are fixing to kick this duel off. 20 seconds, we're going to nail these intros and get these boys on the mats. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Guthrie versus Perry duel in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Put your hands together for your Blue Jays. Your Guthrie Bluejays are coached in his 6th season by Jaden Davenport. All right, wrestling first at 106 pounds for Perry Riker, Ernest, and for the Blue Jays, Joel Landry. At 113 pounds, Perry is open. So put your hands together for Connor Martin. At 120 pounds, Perry's wrestling Tucker Bomber. And for your Blue Jays, Caden Herendeen. At 126 pounds for Perry, it's Carson Avery. And for your Blue Jays, Aiden Smith. At 132 pounds for Perry, it's Aiden Farrell. And for your Blue Jays, Matthew Mahalik. At 138 pounds for Perry, it's Hayden Balderson. And for the Blue Jays, Luke Lyons. At 144 pounds for Perry, it's Riley Shield. And for the Blue Jays, it's Aiden Harden for Thomas Gyrus. Up next at 150 pounds for Perry, it's Strauss Arches. And for the Blue Jays again, it's Aiden Harden for Thomas Gyrus. At 157 pounds for Perry, it's Zane Root. And for the Blue Jays, Samuel Murillo. At 165 pounds for Perry, it's Andrew Cuckoo or Hunter Minor. And for the Blue Jays, Clayton Carey. At 175 pounds, Perry's gonna wrestle Andrew Cook or Hunter Minor. And for the Blue Jays, Bryson Paul. At 190 pounds, for Perry, Cash Warren. And for the Blue Jays, Rustin Usselton or Wyatt Silver. And at 215 pounds, Perry's going to wrestle Marcus McPherson or Morgan Hansen. And for the Blue Jays, Wyatt Sylvest or Austin Husselton. And at heavyweight, Perry's going to wrestle Evar Tetic or Logan Cook. And for the Blue Jays, T-Pow, Tyler Powell.
Please stand and join the Guthrie High School Band in the playing of our national anthem.
All right, up first for the Blue Jays, Joel Landry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's duel. All right, Joel Landry from Guthrie is on bottom. Riker Ernest on top, gets a quick takedown, and now he's back to work on top. Working hard on his inside bar arm here on the right side. Look for him to try to tilt that as he's going to roll through until he'll sit back until. But right now, Landry's doing a good job coming to his feet. He's actually come out the back door now. If he can lock his hands around the head, he will have a reversal. But here he comes peeking out. Little scramble here. Riker Ernest doing his best to stay in control. He's up 3-0, and that first takedown got him 3. Now there was no switch in control, even though Landry was able to get up there and make something happen. He did a good job basing to his feet and getting loose, but Riker Ernest did a good job just staying with that. I guess it's MC. I'm sorry, it's MC. Trying to read this handwriting is tough, but luckily our graphic came from the coach on a computer, so that's nice. Landry stuck here tight on his back. He's got to keep that shoulder up. His right shoulder is in bad shape. Ran out of time here. That's good. Now, keep in mind, folks, if you have been watching wrestling in the past, typically takedowns were 2 points. This year, rules have changed. Takedowns are 3 points, and so now points are going to be faster to get because now also near fall, which means if you're not pinned but you're close to your back, you're near a fall, you can earn 2, 3, or 4 points. And so what was, let's say, a takedown to the back was 5 points. Now it's 7. And so now points are starting to add up a whole lot quicker. So Landry is down quite a few here. So the scoring is a little bit different this year, and that can look a little bit funny as these scores will rack up. Now, the good thing is if you are in a deficit, like, say, a 7-point deficit, a reversal and near fall gets you right back in it. You can catch up just as quick as you get behind, but sometimes these matches will get out of hand. So look for that to look a little bit different than before. Now Riker MC's doing a good job here on top. He's wrestling tough. Really, Joel Landry's done a decent job of basing up and staying out of trouble. He did get turned in the first, but riding on this, it's just a bar arm ride. It's just a very, I say it's a simple ride. It's a tough ride, but very simple. You crack the arm, you put it on the hip, you catch it, makes it where he's wrestling on 3 posts now. It's hard to keep his base. He'll get belly down. You can run chicken wings and tilts out of this. He's trying to run the chicken wing tilt. And Joel Landry's doing a very good job of just staying with that, just working out of that position, getting his arm back, basing back up. He's got it barred back up now. You can see it here on that side angle from the camera. And so that's it's just a tough ride here. Now he's working that chicken wing on the left side. Look for him to try to tilt that. If he gets out of bounds, he'll be able to score out of bounds, but if his rest of his body gets out of bounds, it's going to be tough. He's running out front. He's going to try to push Landry back in. Landry would be wise to just kick his feet out of bounds. If he kicks his feet out of bounds, referee will have to stop it. But now if you look, MC is starting to work his way back in on the other side. His left leg is coming in, and so they didn't go out of bounds. They did go out of bounds. So they will now, one of the other rule changes is they will allow you to wrestle out of bounds as long as you don't get onto the wood floor of the mat or you don't run into a table or something. So they're allowing wrestlers now to use the full completion of the mat, not just the circle. As long as there is a piece of something from either wrestler inside that circle, they will allow that to remain. So it's a little bit, it's still wrestling, everything's the same, but points are a little different, and some of the things they're doing are a little different. They started to do this in college a couple of years ago, and apparently they liked the way it looked. They liked how exciting the matches got, so that has trickled down into high school, junior high, and even into the Little League. The points have now changed. So matches look similar, but definitely points are looking different. We are back to action. Third period, Joel Landry is trailing Riker MC 7-0. All happened in the first. MC was able to get a takedown and near fall. The whole second period, Joel Landry spent on bottom. He didn't get turned, but he was able to stay on top. So coaches put Landry back on his feet in the third, hoping maybe he can get a takedown here and avoid any type of near fall. But a nice little outside, just a snap down, go behind. Almost caught a cradle there. Just a hustler here. MC's doing a nice job just wrestling a clean match. A very, very solid wrestler, MC looks like. But here he gets himself in trouble. He's got to be looking for a defensive fall here. Landry's on top. This is a big change of events. If Landry can sink this in and catch this fall, this is a huge upset. Just as I was talking about how controlled MC was doing, he got a little lackadaisical on his back. And boy, Joel Landry he noticed something and caught it. But now look at this. Riker MC now reverses that position, gets control back. And now he finds himself back on top. Now this match was pretty one-sided there for a second, and now it's starting to get interesting. There's that go behind to a cradle again. MC's very long, and he's using that length very well. He's hooking those legs, staying behind. He's back to his reversal now. As they go out of bounds, what an exciting sequence there. So Joel Landry able to pick up 6 points there. As MC tried to roll underneath on a tilt, got stuck. I think Landry might have had his feet or something. It's like he just laid there and couldn't move. And Joel Landry noticed that something was up and was able to keep him on his back there. Just a crazy choice of events. Here's a roll. Landry's trying to do it just a simple, what they call an old man fat roll. Not the fattest of wrestlers out there, but he was trying to catch him, roll through and kick that leg up and maybe get a little lucky here at the end of this match. He's got to try something, but now for his effort, he's getting put up in a chicken wing. Really, Riker MC did a good job just understanding that position and what was going on. He really sat down on that, got his position back, and now he's going to work on Landry on top. Landry, for is just a noodle as he can be, just very flexible. But now he finds himself in trouble. MC's going to try to get this fall for more team points. And referee Jerry Kuntz snaps the mat and picks up the fall there. Nice, exciting match. Both those guys did a good job. At Riker, Ernest is going to take the win. Going to take the win. All right, we're still working through some of our technicalities.
For the Blue Jays at 113 pounds, Connor Martin.
We're going to have a forfeit at 112
for the
pounds.
Blue Jays at 120 pounds, Caden Harrington.
Caden Herendeen, last year's state champion at 112 pounds in 5A. Really had his way with that tournament. Tough match in the finals, but still found a way to win that one. Now he's back in action for the first time since that state championship, and he's going to take on Tucker Volman of Perry. Gets a takedown for 3. Volmer with an escape. Caden's going to go to work here. Really grew into 119. He actually looks just fit for the size here. One of the biggest strengths Caden Herendeen has is his speed, and does not seem to have lost any of that coming up a weight class. We'll turn some of that crowd noise down, folks. I do apologize for that. Caden now getting some near fall. 2 takedowns is going to be good for 6 points. That near fall is going to get him 4. That's going to bump him all the way up to 10 points in the first minute of wrestling as he stays busy here. Dual score 6-6. Perry picks up a fall at 103 there at the very end of the match. Caden Herendeen here looking for a fall of his own here. Cradle to a fall. Winner by fall. Caden Herendeen back to action. Looking as good as ever. Caden did a nice job there wrestling. Volmer for his effort. Tried to stay in that as long as he could. Going to be wrestling here.
Wrestling next for your Blue Jays at 126 pounds, Aiden Smith.
Back to action here. Blue Jays wrestling Aiden Smith. He's taking on Carson Avery of Perry. Avery comes out quick with a takedown. Now he's going to some tilts. Avery, clearly no stranger to these wrestling mats, gets a nice little bar arm tilt, and he goes to work on top, staying heavy on those hips. Another cross bar arm. We saw this in the first matchup. Just a bar arm chop, grabs the far one, looking for tilts. Got a feeling this is something Perry's been working on. When you see teams just continue to use the same thing, it's obvious that's what they're working on in practice, and that is very evident here as both Perry wrestlers we've watched have been tough on top, running this bar arm ride, and really a good ride. It's hard to deal with, like I was saying earlier, you lose one of your posts, reaches across, grabs the arm again. When you lose that post, it makes it very difficult to get up, and that's going to give Aiden Smith credit as he got up with one arm missing and was able to get out of bounds to get a fresh start. Current score 7-0. Team scores 12-6. It's been all finishes up to this point. And now look at this roll through tilt. He was trying it. Aiden Smith was wise to set his hips down and go back to his knees. Aiden, though, wrestling strong. 126, he looks strong. You know, last year he lost quite a bit of weight to come down and kind of looked a little bit puny down at that 103. But, man, coming up to 126, he looks like he's putting on some size. As a sophomore, give this kid a couple more years. He's going to be a good filled-out junior, senior next year. But really this season did a good job. Last year when he did compete in tournaments, he placed in a couple tournaments, had a couple really good outings in some of the duels we had. So it's good to see him back on the mat and find a spot on this team. But yeah, looking at Carson Avery, this kid's tough. You can just tell by the way he wrestles on top. He came out, got a quick takedown, and really just hasn't given any breathing room to Aiden Smith, who, for his credit, has been tough on bottom. Again, I say this often, but sometimes your reward for wrestling well on bottom is you didn't get turned. When you got a kid that's tough on top, sometimes the best that you can do is to stay off your back. And everyone wants to get away. No one wants to be under there. You want to score points. But, man, when you got a kid like this Carson Avery on top, sometimes you'd be content with just not getting turned and then getting yourself a fresh start on your feet like he's got here. So, got another chance, but Avery's coming underneath. Look for him to hit a fireman's carry, a little short dump. He's got that range. He's got that elbow caught. He's switching off now to a single leg. He's going to run the pipe on the other side. Down in the crackdown position, just a nice transition. He goes from a fireman's tip on the left side. He cracks down to the right, just kind of back and forth. Aiden's doing a good job of hanging on here and scrambling. He's got to try to keep that head from popping out as it does. This is going to be 2 points or 3 points. Don't know why it hadn't been yet, but there it is on the edge. Good job by Carson Avery, just continuing to wrestle. They call it chain wrestling. Chain wrestling is just basically moving from one move to another without ever stopping. You just sequence it together like a chain. It's hooked. Everything's hooked together. That's what happened. He came from that tie-up. He hits that short carry. He moves into the single leg on the other side, the crackdown, and got that takedown. Aiden Smith did a nice job defending all of that. That's just credit to Avery for being such a well-rounded wrestler. Because really, Aiden Smith, he's as solid as a 126-pound sophomore gets. So nice little snap down here. Avery, though, underneath again where he's been. Aiden Smith's got to keep that leg straight, keep that ankle. If he can put that ankle on his butt, he's grabbing a hold of that foot, but he's too far down on the shin. He needs to get down all the way to the shoes, down past the sock to the shoes, and get that on his butt. If Aiden can keep that ankle on Carson Avery's butt, Carson's not going to be able to drive. But he lost the ankle, and that allowed Avery to move his feet and go. So he held the position for a moment. But again, just hats off to Avery for being, this kid's obviously been in these situations before. And again, he chain wrestles, just bouncing back and forth very nicely. Tough kid here. Goes right back to that bar arm right. Just a chop, bar arm, far wrist, grinding it out here on top. Current score 13-1, and really, Aiden Smith's wrestled a solid match. He's done a good job. Seems to be a little bit outgunned here by just a little savvy Carson Avery. Just a solid kid. The first match we had, Riker Ernest, solid wrestler. Got another solid wrestler here in Carson Avery. Where the Blue Jays are a little bit young, these Maroons seem to be really just taking advantage here with just their skill. Now there's a big move. There's a big move. This is what Guthrie needs here. Get some near fall, get something on the back, and really take this match back over. Nice job by Aiden Smith. Don't count this kid out. He's very capable in all positions, as we saw there. Carson got a little bit just lackadaisical. Maybe thought he was going to get another takedown, but Aiden Smith has not broke yet. He is back in this match. He's on top now. I'm going to try his hand on getting a turn, and he's got to get a turn. He's really got to force this turn. He's got to get out front. Now he's going to try to find a snake out front. I don't think it's going to be too high percentage with a kid as good as Avery, but that doesn't mean he's not going to try it. Aiden's got to get some big points. Like we talked earlier, the points will run away from you in this new point format, and that's where Aiden kind of finds himself. He's given up a couple takedowns in a couple positions, and finds himself down 13-4, and he's got to do something big. And so that's what coaches now, coaches now are saying, forget about, the standard takedowns, forget about the standard techniques. We got to go big here. And so Aiden really, he's got to get a turn, he's got to get a pin. And so look for him to start getting a little bit silly, a little bit desperate. He's a tough kid. He wants to win. He's going to try to find a way. But Carson Avery's proven he can wrestle well. So I see him just being smart here, controlling things, maybe trying to get back on top if he can, but really not. He doesn't have to take any risks. So I wouldn't think he would take a risk. I think he's going to be happy to just keep it simple. But there he goes back in on a shot on the edge. Now this will seal the deal. If he can get this takedown and end up back on top, he can finish the match comfortable, back on top. There's his 3 points back. Winner. 17-4. Carson Avery. Great match, both guys. Exciting match. Well done, both guys. We got a couple seconds here to burn off the clock. Again, like I said about Aiden Smith, he's going to wrestle till the end. This kid's tough. He's got a great future ahead. Came up a bit against the hammer tonight, but wrestled him well. Nice job, boys. Get ready for this next walkout.
Farrell.
And up next, at 138 pounds, wrestling. Wrestling next, at 132 pounds, Matthew Mihaly.
All right, Matt Mahalik. Wrestling for the Blue Jays. Going to be taken on Aiden Tetic. I do hope I am pronouncing that name correctly. Matt Mahalik, nearly a state qualifier last year, really just came down. I don't want to get caught telling a story here, but I think he made it to the tournament, lost in that first kind of beginner round there where you got to wrestle into the tournament at state. I know if he didn't make it that far, he was definitely down to the wire at regionals. But just right there on the cusp of going. I know he wrestled well against a couple of guys that ended up placing at state. Matt Mahalik's going to be this is his senior campaign. He wants to get a medal at the state tournament. He's been talking about it all summer. Again, a jiu-jitsu kid who competed jiu-jitsu all summer. He's been, in the gym down there grappling. He's in the wrestling room grappling, really trying to figure things out. One thing that gives his opponents trouble is just his crafty nature. Jiu-jitsu is a really playful sport. You get in weird positions, crazy positions. You find ways to work out of it. And, Matt is that guy. He's very playful. You can see it here, in what should have been just an easy takedown. A situation that Tetic found himself in. He's going to come around back and score. And now Matt Mahalik finds a way to get him on his back and turn that into 7. That is classic Matt Mahalik wrestling right there. He's it's like when I watch him, I think, God, you're in a terrible position. And the next thing I know, he's scoring points. So that is what he does. He's comfortable in crazy positions. He's really, really, really trying to finish this here. I can't see it from my view, but I'm looking here in the camera view. This is tight. That's a fall. That's 6 points for the Blue Jays. Matt Mahalik picks up his first win of his senior season. What a match. Nicely done by Matt Mahalik. Yeah, what a crazy match. And really, hey, Aiden Farrell, to his credit, was finishing a takedown. Looked like he knew exactly what he wanted to do. Gets around, gets behind, and and just ends up getting caught there by something he's probably not too used to seeing. Trying to get this next walkout going.
And up next, at 138 pounds,
trying to figure out which wrestler we got going.
Blue Jays, Luke
Gonna wrestle Luke Lyons here. Some of these weights are a little bit mixed up. We're waiting to see who is coming out for us. Luke Lyons, another one of Guthrie's finest, been wrestling his whole life and has just as tough as a boot. He's starting to get his game put together, and he's coming out on his junior season this year. Again, made it all the way to the blood rounds at regionals and lost. We got a team full of kids that are experienced and competitive and just looking and hungry for that. Look at that double leg. Nicely done. Taps the head. Caught him. He's got to finish this. He's got to step over. Going for the half now. Look at this. Luke Lyons looking good here. Coming out just firing. He caught Balderson reaching for the head. They were reaching, kind of going back and forth on these hand fight exchanges, and then Luke just disappears underneath that exchange for the double leg. That was a pretty shot, and Balderson, to his credit, did a good job on the edge trying to fight out of bounds, but ends up Luke caught him in a half, and he had to bail out there and give up that two wisely. Now Luke Lyons going hard on top here, a little bit high. He's super aggressive, but he catches the far arm. Now he's got a barbed wire. This barbed wire, folks, if he can sit down on his head, if he can catch that arm and sit down on the head, he's got to walk this around. Balderson's in a tough spot here, but Luke did lose the arm. Balderson was able to get that arm loose, and now he's going to wiggle out the side here. Luke's got to get back behind. Aggressive, just a mean cross face. I'm going to grab that arm and get it. He is hustling here. Luke Lyons wrestling on a different level than I've seen him before. This aggression is just confidence exuding. Good to see Balderson tough down here on bottom, is not wanting to give this up. But Luke Lyons is just relentless, just tip after tip after tip, go after go after go. Balderson, he's picking up the head now. He's cross-facing. He's going to walk that hand out. There's the fall. As soon as he walked that hand out, that was the fall. Luke Lyons comes out junior year, first match of the season with the fall against the very game Hayden Balderson. Nicely done there. Good contest. It's going to put the Blue Jays up 24-10. Up next, Thomas Gyrus for the Blue Jays is going to enter the mat. Looks like he's going to take on Riley Schlegel. Folks, if you're at home from Perry and I get these names wrong, I do apologize. I will do my best. But please forgive me if I'm not getting it right. Now, Matt Gyrus, we saw his brother. This is Thomas Gyrus. We saw his brother Matt Mahalik wrestle 2 matches ago, the jiu-jitsu guy. This will be Thomas's first wrestling match. This will be his first wrestling match. He's never competed before. He wrestled in the duel, the blue and white duel, so I guess that could have been his debut, but it was more of an exhibition. This is his first official match. He's on varsity in this duel. And again, even though he's a first-year wrestler, he is a long-time grappler, as you can see by a very good double leg transition to a single leg lift and finish. And now he's going for sort of a reversed cradle of sorts. Again, not necessarily a traditional wrestler, but a grappler more so. So he's going to be familiar in a lot of situations, and like his brother, I would expect him to be comfortable in weird situations and also willing to execute in situations that most wrestlers probably wouldn't. That bit of a awkwardness definitely is an advantage, because that jiu-jitsu grappling experience really seems to pay off here. So we've seen it from his brother. He walked into the room this year, just asked if he could come roll around with the guys and try to learn a little bit about wrestling or whatever. And turns out he was a pretty good wrestler. And coach said, "Why don't you just put on a singlet and we're going to put you out on a mat." So as you can tell, he's definitely game for this sport. And Riley Schlegel now finds himself down 3-0 with under 20 seconds to go in this first period. To his credit, he's doing a good job of maintaining his base. Even when he gets bumped to his belly, he's base building well, and he's trying to come up here to get out from underneath Thomas Gyrus. Down under 5 seconds now. Thomas staying on top, doing a good job here. Not applying a lot of pressure, but again, that bar arm chop, he's keeping that pressure, and that's keeping Schlegel from being able to come up. We're going to go into the second period here, as Thomas Jairus leads Riley Schlegel 3-0. Coaches are discussing an optional start. Not sure if Jairus is wanting to go back on his feet or if Coach is wanting him to maybe try to get a fall here. Coach wants those 6 points. I can guarantee you that. This Perry team is very game, and any points you can score, they should. I know it seems like every match here is ending in bonus. Perry came out strong with 2 bonus wins, and so Guthrie's answering back. And so you're going to see coaches really, any of these duels as they get close, you know, any of these bonus points they can get, they will. If you win just a duel by match points, you earn three points for your teams. There's a lock hands call. Locked hands is going to earn Riley Schlegel 1 point. If you are on top, you cannot lock your hands around the waist of your opponent. That is an illegal hold, and Thomas Jairus did that. Referee Jerry Kuntz saw that, and he indicated that he had seen that. He let the wrestlers wrestle it out a little bit to give Schlegel a chance to get out. He couldn't get out, and so Jerry stopped the match to give Schlegel a fresh start and awarded him a point for the illegal hold. Now, what I was saying earlier about these team points, if you win by just regular points, that means 7 points or less. If you win, that earns your team 3 points. If you win by 8 points or more, you earn your team 4 points. If you win by 15 points, it's called a technical fall. They stop the match. It's like a run rule. That earns your team 5 points. And then if you pin your opponent, that earns your team 6 points. Other ways that you can earn points, if there's a violation maybe from the team bench, or a wrestler swears at the referee or something, you know, unsportsmanlike, that could cost your team a point. Other things, if a wrestler is injured, if he's out here wrestling, no matter what the score is, if he's injured and can't continue, 6 points get awarded to the other team. So it's, if they're not able to continue, it's 6 points. And then if they don't have a wrestler at that weight, and so let's say, you know, Guthrie has a wrestler at a certain weight, Perry does not, Guthrie would earn 6 points for the dual team, for the team, for that wrestler not being there. So that's sort of how the scoring works. But here we go on top now. Thomas Jairus gets him to his back. And for his effort, Riley Schlegel's rolling through. Jairus not quite familiar enough with how to hold an opponent on his back. Where he comes from, guys try to stay on their back in jiu-jitsu, and now he's trying to figure out how to hold a guy on his back. So didn't quite have everything hooked up tight enough. Schlegel recognized that and was quick to roll through, but not before Jairus picked up 4 near fall points. Again, if the referee starts swiping his hand when a wrestler breaks the plane of 45, so let's say he's on his belly, he gets tipped to his side. When he starts to go over, he breaks 90, and then he breaks 45 degrees. So he's almost to the shoulders of his back. He's at 45 degrees there. The referee will start swiping his hand. If he swipes it once and then he swipes it twice, that's 2 points. If he swipes it 3 times, that's 3 points. If he swipes it 4, that's 4 points. So basically, if you're held on your back for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, or 4 seconds, you lose that many points. Or I guess the opponent earns that many points, and that's how they are earning points there in that near fall. So up to 4 points for near fall. Nice double leg takedown. Jairus smelled that one coming. Riley Schlegel was trying to pass it by. He was trying to get that arm off his head and pass it by. He set both his feet. He didn't move him. He set him down, and Jairus just dove in on that double leg. And then now Jairus back to work here on top, really doing a great job on top. Just kind of smothering a little bit like a blanket. There's a half now. He's got a half on the left side. Now a half will pin, but Schlegel's wise to it. Does a good job posturing up. He posted up, got back to his knees, making that hard. But now Jairus with a bar arm tilt. Not quite tilting it correctly. Again, a new wrestler. He's trying to figure this out. He does a good job controlling and holding and keeping down, but scoring points and having control in wrestling is quite a bit different than jiu-jitsu. And, you know, jiu-jitsu, most of the time guys aren't trying to escape. They're trying to stay put, and wrestling's a little bit opposite. So Jairus still trying to figure out how all this is working, and Schlegel, obviously recognizing his opportunities to get up, is doing so. We're third period. We're down under 40 seconds now. It's been all Matt Jairus so far, but Schlegel's done a good job of staying out of trouble for the most part. Even on his back, he wasn't too close to being pinned. He just was rolling through. He's been there a couple of times and has done a good job coming out. Jairus trying to hit this cradle, doesn't quite have it. Well, he does have it hooked up. He's got the neck, he's got the leg. He's got to pull it back now or pull it back over top of his head. He's looking up at the coaches, Coach Javen Davenport. You can see him right there on the edge of the mat, walking him through it, trying to just tell him step by step what to do next. Schlegel, though, is doing a good job trying to get to his belly. So Schlegel's trying to belly out and get long, and Jairus is trying to ball him up and pull him over on his back. So doesn't look like we're going to get any more points here. Matt Jairus wins 10-0. That's major decision. That's going to be 4 points for the Blue Jays. And that's going to put them up 28-10. Your winner, Thomas Jairus, in his first match ever, gets a win on varsity. Good for him. Aiden Harden here for the Blue Jays, making his varsity debut. Aiden, a freshman, comes to us from the junior high program where he started a couple of years ago, has really taken a liking to wrestling, and has put in a ton of time and a ton of work. Wrestled both summers in freestyle. It looks like he is going up against Strauss Karcher, who clearly is no stranger to the wrestling mat. A big, strong athlete and very, very athletic. Aiden Harden, Strauss trying to step in, got a little bit nonchalant. Aiden Harden grabs a hold of that leg and tries to come back up and finish. Strauss lets him go again. 6-0 is the score. Harden sprawls, reacts, and ends up back behind, and now Strauss is coming back out front. It's going to be 9-3 is the score. Strauss coming for a short carry. Can really see the size difference in these athletes. Aiden Harden's very tall. Strauss very stocky, very stout, mature. I would guess he's closer to his senior year than Aiden Harden is for sure. But Aiden here fighting hard, trying to belly out and get long. Strauss trying to pick up a fall. His team's going to need bonus points here and a fall, so look for him to go for that. And look for Aiden Harden to not lay down for that. He's a tough kid. He's going to do his best to score where he can. Watched him wrestle in the duel the other night against another freshman and put on a great performance. He's a tough kid. Got a lot of potential here. Referee's going to allow him to fix his headgear as it was down around his eyes. Current score 4-12. We've got 4 takedowns and 4 escapes. There's 21 seconds to go. Aiden would do well to keep Strauss from scoring in this last 20 seconds. Strauss will come at him hard. He's going to want to try to get 3 more to take up some of the deficit from those escapes. So look for him to come at it. He's looking for something big right now. You can tell he's trying to hook and underhook, inside trips. He's wanting to go big, feet to back. There it is, feet to back. Aiden's trying to hold on here. And now he's feet to back. We're running out of time with 2 seconds. Aiden's got to fight hard. You're doing a good job pushing the hip, rolling through. As Strauss picks up 3 near fall. That's going to put him up 15-4. Going to go neutral. 18-4 is the score here. Strauss chooses neutral. He's going to try to go feet to back so that he can get the fall for his team. If not, he'll get the tech fall and try to earn as many points as he can. Aiden Harden, though, Strauss gets a little bit too nonchalant. Aiden will bite back. That is something he has been known to do. You count him out, and he'll come back. We've seen it from a couple of these younger Guthrie kids. They're not going to lay down. They're going to stay in it. So there's 3 points on the edge. That's going to be good for a tech fall. Strauss Karcher does a nice job here. Tough kid, good wrestler. Good effort there by Aiden Harden. I would definitely say to Aiden, give it 2 or 3 years, and that tide will turn, and that situation will look a lot different for him. But it's a nice work there. Tough kid.
next for the Blue Jays at 157 pounds, Samuel Murillo.
Samuel Murillo for the Blue Jays gives up a takedown there. First year, Samuel Murillo has been on the mats here for several weeks, I would say somewhere shy of a month, but got his opportunity to jump in here and fill in a spot and is doing so. For his effort, he's running into a hammer. Zane Ruth doing a nice job with his initial takedown, is now going to work on top with that very familiar bar arm ride. Look for him to pull that back onto a hammerlock is what he's looking to do. The hammerlock's when you pull the arm behind the back. Looks to me like that's what he is working towards. Working hard here, 2-on-1. There's that hammerlock. He's going to put it on his back. Look for him to push that over into a half position. He'll hook the head, run that arm up high, and that's a hard one to get off of, folks. That is fall territory for sure. Nice job there by Zane Ruth doing what he's supposed to do. Good effort there by Samuel Murillo. Went out and did the best he could under the circumstances. Give him some time, figure out a few things on the mat. I'll be looking forward to seeing him progress through the years. Good-looking kid there for Guthrie. And hopefully get him some experience as we move forward.
For your Blue Jays at 165 pounds, Clayton Carey.
Up to 165 pounds now. Blue Jays Clayton Carey is going to take on Andrew Kukik of Perry. You know, Clayton Carey put on some size. He was a 38-pounder last year, matured into a bigger 165er this year. Has a little height on Kukuk, but also Andrew seems to be a stout young man as well. So both of these athletes big, well-sized. Clayton Carey last year, again, freshman season, had a heck of a freshman season, was a big time. He came in clutch in several duels, was close to getting to that state tournament. You know, as competitive as any wrestler we had on that varsity lineup as just a freshman. He comes in now his sophomore season again, put in a ton of time. Obviously, he's put on some size, just another year of maturity. Look forward to seeing what he has to offer. These guys just out here wrestling around, feeling each other out. Going to good job hand fighting, dives in there on a double leg. Oh, big time throw out of bounds. Andrew Kukuk not going to be taken down easily. Throws that cow catcher. Luckily, Clayton Carey gets out of bounds. He was rolling through it, but definitely going to keep him honest. There's a high C attempt. He had it, but Andrew does a good job of hooking that outside arm and stopping that motion forward. Now Clayton Carey's got a deep elbow. Look for him to try to hit a short carry. Kukuk's going back in for that snake again. Look for him to roll either way. He'll have a chin and an underhook. He can go left, he can go right. And it seems like we saw that cow catcher earlier, and there he was trying it again on the edge. I would think that's something he's going to try again if Carey shoots in again. And Carey will keep coming. That is what he does. He's a hard-nosed wrestler. He's going to keep banging. He's going to keep shooting. He's going to keep trying to score points because that's just how he does things. So look for this match to spice up as we get deeper into the rounds. We're coming to a close here, 5 seconds in the first period, 0-0, folks. We might have our first just dual even competitive match here. It's kind of every match up to this point's been a little bit one-sided. Guthrie kind of came out quick, got that score up. Perry's been slowly creeping back now on bonus. Really one-sided matches, but 0-0 first period makes me excited that this one might get a little interesting. This could be a pivotal match in the duel. 28-21 current score of the duel. Clayton Carey quick to his feet. Folks, You know, kids, if you're watching at home, the whistle is the best time to score. Clayton Carey, textbook, perfect time to score there. He did a great job of coming off the whistle. Andrew Cook wasn't able to get a hold of anything, a little bit taken off, you know, and Clayton just explodes off the whistle. That 1 point doesn't seem like a lot, but he doesn't have to spend the whole period underneath now. And that's huge. There he catches an outside ankle, back on that hook. Clayton gets in, he catches that angle, and Andrew again hooks under the arm, grabs that neck. He's going for that snake or that cow catcher, maybe that neck whip if he goes the other way. He's going to be dangerous here. Clayton's going to have to finish clean, and Andrew is not allowing that because he's so dangerous from that position. This is a good match, folks. They're back and forth. It's a minute down. Clayton up off the whistle, gets his 1 point, and now we are battling it here on our feet. This could come down to a takedown. You know, Clayton's doing all the shooting, but Andrew really hasn't been in any trouble yet. But Clayton's got the angle. He's got behind. He's got to shelf that leg and get it up. Andrew's got to get out of bounds. Clayton Carey with the takedown. That's a big one with under a minute to go in the first. Nice job. You know, I said earlier, Clayton's going to keep coming because that's what Clayton does. Well, he keeps coming and he figures it out. He gets his timing down. He gets his shots down. He doesn't get deterred. He finally gets in there and figures out a way to get Andrew Cook down on the mat. Now he's on top, grinding, wrestling hard. And Andrew doesn't seem to be trying to get to his feet here. He's just kind of posting up and staying solid, trying to stay off his back, but hadn't really made a solid attempt to get to his feet. I don't know if he's wearing out here or if maybe he's got some savvy sit-out switch type stuff, but so far has not done much from the bottom position. Maybe he's just biding his time to get through this period, but he's going to have to get away and score some points. A 1 point escape would be huge here for him because that would give him an opportunity to win with a takedown, but he's not going to get out. Clayton Carey's going to go into the third period up 3-0. And coaches, you couldn't see him from I could see him from my angle, you couldn't see him from the camera. Perry coaches were very hesitant to put Andrew Cook down. They were very hesitant, but they know he's got to get the escape. You know, could he get 2 takedowns? They felt like he needed an escape and a takedown to tie this. And again, so far he hasn't come up to his feet. Normally you go from your belly to your base to your feet. That's kind of the progression. Now he's starting to come up a little bit. Clayton Carey catches the cradle. Andrew does a good job, though, getting long. He felt it coming. Now he's got that wrist control. He's going to try to get that wrist over his head. You can see it in the camera here. He's going to try to get that wrist over his head. That's going to get Clayton super high. But now Clayton was able to get his arm back. Clayton just grinding on top. Now note, Clayton doesn't have to do anything from top. He's already winning. He doesn't have to score any points. He doesn't have to get risky. But Clayton doesn't know how to stop wrestling. That boy just wrestles nonstop. And if you notice, Jerry Kuntz, referee, gave a stall warning against Perry. So Andrew Cook not doing enough down there. And he was warned for stalling. So the guy who's down is not wrestling enough for the referee's pleasure. So, you know, he should be trying to come to his feet typically, or at least trying to sit out and get away. But it seems like his hips are stuck under here, and he's not about to move much. And, again, he's just not coming to his feet. We're down under a minute, 45 seconds to go, and it's all Clayton Carey at this point. About halfway through that match was the turning point. He stood up, got away in a second, got that takedown with a minute to go, and has been riding on top ever since. He's been on top for about 2 minutes now. And Andrew Cook not able to really get out at all. He's trying to get out of bounds to get a fresh start, but Clayton Carey still grinding on top. Oh, there's a roll through. They're out of bounds now. Clayton's got to be smart here. He's just got to end this match on top, and he will pick up the win. Cook did hit a crossover Granby earlier, so possibly there's that sit-out switch. Maybe that's what he likes to do down there, but again, really hasn't made an honest attempt to get to his feet, and that has bid well for Clayton Carey. Now he's underneath. We've got to watch this knee here. There's no reason to get hurt here as this match has come to a conclusion. Clayton Carey picks up the first win of his sophomore campaign against a very game Andrew Cook from Perry. Nice match. Both wrestlers came down to that main takedown in the second, and it was a nice scrap we had there between those two tough kids. Moving on to 173 pounds now.
Up next at 175 pounds, wrestling for your Blue Jays, Bryson Hall.
175 pounds. Bryson Hall for the Blue Jays. Last year, 3rd place at state. Bunch of big wins under his belt. He won a couple of tournaments, won most of his dual matches, even bumped up to wrestle. Actually, somebody bumped up to wrestle him from Blackwell, a big-time matchup. Bryson's always game for a good match. It's going to be a good season for him again this year. He has come up. He was a 65-pounder last year. This year he's come up to 75 pounds. Didn't grow an inch taller, but may have grown 2 or 3 inches in his arms and his legs. Bryson has put in some work in the weight room over the summer. He was already a big 65-pounder last year and somehow became a big 75-pounder this year. He wrestled at 90 earlier this year and made it to the finals down in Yukon. Got a hold of a buzzsaw that looked like he was 50 pounds bigger. And so Bryson was still working to get that weight down. He's a big 75-pounder. You can tell by his physique, and really, this kid's a wrestler through and through. Comes out with a big takedown, go back on top. One wrinkle he added in his game last season, which was really a big part of his success, was wrestling on top. You know, the first couple years in high school, didn't do a lot of top wrestling, didn't score a lot from top, really just let guys go and did takedowns. And then last year he added that wrinkle and really helped him out in big matchups. He was scoring on top. He was picking up falls. We needed some big points and some duels, and he was able to pull off some bonus point wins, all because of his top game. And when he needed to ride, he was able to ride. He did a good job. So he's tough on top now, all 3 areas. He's good on bottom. He's good on top. He's good on his feet. This is why he was 3rd in the state. This is why he's one of the top-ranked guys in 5A right now, 175 pounds. Again, underhook throw by, very clean, very nicely done. Bryson's getting to work here. Now, Hunter Miller, for his credit, did a good job on bottom. If Bryson could have turned him and pinned him, he would have. But Hunter Minor is wrestling tough on bottom, not giving Bryson anything to work with. He's having trouble getting out, but he's just not giving Bryson anything to work with. He's being tough down here. So, to his credit, that first period, Bryson usually gets guys out of there in the first, and Hunter Minor did a good job staying in there. Bryson Hall gets right to that quad pod. This is a position he likes to be in from bottom. Because of the strength of his legs and arms, he can quad pod. Most guys can't get him down from there. He waits his turn, waits his position, and then is able to just come right up. That quad pod really bids him well. Again, comes right back out, dynamic takedown. He's up 10-1 now, all takedowns. Well, takedowns and then an escape. Wrestling tough here on top is Bryson Hall. It's 31-21 is the team score. Bryson's going to work now. He's got that. He's hooking that near ankle, just a near ankle bar arm ride. And Hunter Minor doing a good job just staying relevant here, not letting Bryson score anything. Trying to stay out of trouble here. He doesn't want to give up anything big. Bryson's trying to just ride this out. He's under a minute. I would look for Bryson to start letting him go and start trying to score some more points. Coaches over there are going to want some bonus. You know, currently Guthrie's winning this duel, but Perry is not out of reach by any means. So bonus points are going to play a big deal here, and he seems to be doing well on his feet. But there's that cradle though. Bryson's got it locked up. Hunter Minor did a good job of just getting along and popping those hands off. So he was able to stay out of trouble again. He's doing a good job on bottom, just being hard to score on. He's really never been a threat of getting out, and that's why Jerry Kuntz is calling him for stalling. He's not really trying to get out. He's really just doing a good job surviving down here, not giving up any points. Bryson's looking to get a leg, trying to put a leg in. Bryson looks like he's starting to get a little bit frustrated, just trying to do something, but he's going to ride this out here to go into the third, up 10-1. And now it's going to be Hunter Minor's choice, and his coaches are going to put him down. Looking over here at coaches. Coach Jeremy Davenport is looking over to Bryson and said, hey, let's get some more points here. We need this. So he said if you're going to try to get the fall, try to do it feet to back or just get the tech. Now, again, Hunter Minor, to his credit, has just been hard to deal with all night. Really hasn't been an offensive threat, but defensively he's been a problem from bottom. Coaches here are going to keep probably just letting him go and pick up a tech because Hunter Minor's not going to give up that fall unless he maybe gets caught feet to back here. There's a feet to back. Bryson's going to try to get a half coming out of this. He's holding on to that elbow. He doesn't need the elbow for points. He's trying to keep the elbow so he can swim for the half and try to get the points, but try to get the fall, but not able to do that. He's up 16-3. Bryson's going to need one takedown to get a tech fall. Look for Hunter Minor he's going to be hard to take down, but look for him to try something big in the transition just to burn this clock or maybe catch Bryson, but Hall does a good job here picking up the tech fall for the Blue Jays. That's going to be 5 more points for Guthrie as Bryson Hall picks up a tech fall over Hunter Minor. Cash Warren
at 190 pounds for the Blue Jays, Roston Usselton.
Roston Usselton for the Blue Jays at 190 pounds is going to take on Cash Warren. Roston varsity wrestled last year, I believe at 175 pounds, I believe Roston was. He's up a weight now, putting on some size. Roston, a very mature sophomore. He's a big, strong wrestler. He's hard to deal with in a lot of areas. He's also a big move man. He can come from his back and pin someone from there. He's big and explosive. He's powerful in ways that are a little bit deceiving. Not going to be terribly flashy, but he's going to be very gritty, very, very gritty wrestler. Never out of a match. I've seen him getting taken down a lot, and he always comes back and figures out a way to score points and make things happen. But loses a takedown here. Cash Warren does a good job just barreling through that and picks up 3 points for the takedown. Roston now getting rode with that hammer lock. We've been seeing this bar arm, cross arm tilt from the lighter guys, and as we've transitioned into these upper weights, it seems like they're trying to put that bar arm on the back and work this hammer lock. So if it goes to the belly, it's called a bar arm tilt. If it goes to the back, it's a hammer lock is what that's called. And so they run that hammer lock. It makes it tough to deal with. Now, if you are getting hammer locked, you get to your knees, and that usually takes it away. So Roston's done a great job here of doing that. Now he's back to his feet and out. With 20 seconds to go, that's a big-time escape by Roston Usselton. It's a good job of just fighting from that position. He did a good job. Roston likes his underhooks too. There's his underhook on the far side. He's going to try to jack both of them up, it looks like, and maybe try for that bear hug. But like I said, Roston's going to stay in here. But to his credit, Cash Warren picks up the takedown early and goes into the second period 3-1 over Roston Usselton. Roston goes back down. Cash on top. Dual score 36-21. Perry's going to need something big here if they're going to get back in this match. They're deep in the heavier weights. They got a bunch of wrestlers here, but they're only going to be able to wrestle Cash and 2 more. And so if they're going to try to catch up to Guthrie, they're going to need some big time scores out of these last 3 matches. And Roston banging that head down hard. He's starting to wear down Cash a little bit. Cash now clinging to that head. Roston with a snap down into an outside single. He's got the head, transitions to the double. He's trying to finish. Cash staying on his feet, trying to square up. Good little scramble here. Roston Usselton with the double leg takedown from an outside single from a snap down. Just a chain wrestling. I talked about it earlier. Just didn't stop moving until he got the takedown. Nicely done. That's going to put him up 4-3 over Cash Warren. Now, Cash seems to be wearing down a little bit here. He came up from being on top and kind of slowed down a little bit. He's hanging a little bit more, but pops to his feet here, and now he's digging back into his own underhooks to tie it up. So right about the time I thought Cash was wearing down, boy, he exploded back to his feet. And he's back up. Ralston, though, back to that heavy snap down and go behind. Nicely done again. Second time he scored out of that snap down. And now Cash just kind of sat there and let Ralston get around. And now he's got his head on the mat, just hanging out here as we're down under 35 seconds. Seems like maybe Ralston's starting to wear on him a little bit. Cash is going to have to get back to his base if he doesn't want to get mauled here. Ralston's mean on top, and he will maul you if you lay there. So Cash gets back to his base. Now, from his base, he can come to his feet. We saw that earlier. You can't really stand up from your belly, but from your knees you can. And look at that. He's up and he's out. Just waited for his time. About the time I think he's tired, I think he's just waiting for his opportunity because, again, he waited, and then he found his spot, exploded right to his feet. So Cash Warren, very crafty from that bottom position. We've seen it. Now he's going to have to get out here again, and he's going to have to get back to work on Ralston. Ralston Usselton with a snap down and score. He's done it twice now. He's really finding his groove on his feet. Cash is going to, I'm not going to call him tired anymore. I'm going to say that Cash is going to wait out down there. I'm going to say that Cash is going to hang out down there and wait for his opportunity to explode. We're going to set that score clock back to 2 minutes. They started that third period and didn't quite have the clock ready to go. Yep, there's Cash again. Sits out, gets loose. Boy, he's crafty on bottom. He's tricked me twice, and he's a handful for Ralston. Now we're getting down to the wire. This is another match. You know, I was talking about it earlier. We've had kind of lopsided matches all night on both sides of the mat, but this match is very even. These guys are very even wrestlers, and now it's coming down to a takedown. Ralston, though, gets behind. No points yet. No points. Ralston gets behind, but you got to take him to the mat to score, and Ralston doesn't take him to the mat. And so Cash Warren was able to get out of bounds and keep that takedown from happening. Now we're in an interesting situation here. If Cash can get a takedown, he'll be up by a point. Ralston gets a takedown, he might seal the deal. And really this is going to come down to the wire, I think, either way. You know, Warren showed early in the first period he can take Ralston down. He's done it once before. Now Ralston, though, takedown, go behind, snap down, go behind. He's done it 3 times. That's the 3rd time we've seen that snap down, go behind for Ralston. He's done a nice job with it all night. 3rd time's a charm. 11-6 now. Now he's starting to get away from this match. And again, we talked about these points. You know, what was a really close match now on paper looks like it's kind of getting out of hand, but really it was just a takedown that made the difference in this match. But the way the points are with 3 points scoring, it looks like Ralston's up quite a bit. And it's going to take quite a bit for Cash Warren to catch up now. He's just camping out on bottom here. Under 30 seconds to go, and now it's all Ralston. He's got him bellied out. Ralston's grinding on top, keeping pressure down. Now Warren's back to his base, though. He's back to his base. He's still going. He's got that inside post. This is how he's got out twice before, but looks like he's going to stay put here. Ralston's on top with 10 seconds to go. Now Ralston's getting bar arms. He's got a cross face. Coach is telling him to hang out here. Don't do nothing crazy. This match is over. Ralston Usselton wins 11-6. Nice match, both guys. Perry put up a great fight there. What a good match that was. Possibly the best match of the night. Going up to 215 pounds now.
Up next at 215 pounds, wrestling for the Blue Jays, Wyatt Silver.
Marcus McPherson of Perry. Wrestling Wyatt Silvas of Guthrie. Wyatt Silvas wrestled in the youth program as a youngster, and then he took junior high off and decided as a freshman last year that he was going to get back on this team and see if he could make something out of his career. Weighed in at under 190 pounds today. Him and Ross that have been battling for that varsity position. And he's getting after it tonight against the bigger man. Struggling for that leg, does a good whip down. He's just wrestling this bigger man. Marcus McPherson did a good job of kicking out and scrambling. Wyatt Silvas, he's got a good high C on his left side. He's got a good outside single on his right. We've seen him be very successful with both. But he's going to have to whittle down this bigger man. And Marcus McPherson, to his credit, seems to be game. He's willing to fight there. Wyatt's had him kind of dead to rights twice and not able to finish yet. Now he's got him double underhook. He's got a body lock. McPherson, Wyatt's going to have a hard time wrestling him down here just because he's so much bigger. He's a lot taller, but he whips him down. Nice bear hug. Waited until he pushed, and he just twisted him out of the way. Able to get that big-time takedown. Nicely done by Wyatt Silvas. Marcus McPherson actually did a very nice job not going to his back there. Most of the time, a bear hug like that takes you right to your back. Bigger guys go to their back, and they get pinned. And Marcus did a good job just bellying out there. Realized he was in trouble, and he bailed out and went to his belly. Silvas now trying to keep pressure underneath. He likes that cross-face far arm. He'll like to do the barbed wire. We've seen a couple of the Guthrie guys hit that barbed wire already tonight, and Silvas is keen on that. We've seen it all through the open tournament so far this season. He'll run that cross-face barbed wire. But choice is going to go to Guthrie. They're going to defer. McPherson is going to go down. And Wyatt Silvas goes into the second period up 3-0 in what was an impressive first period. Got in a couple single legs and ended up getting a bear hug on the bigger man, able to get him on the ground. He's a little too high here, riding that elbow. He needs to get behind the arm. You get in trouble if he gets too high there on that bar arm. He's got to get behind that arm if he doesn't want to get himself in trouble. But McPherson's head's on the mat, so that's helpful. He's got that leg hooked, and that's helping him not fall off the front. But if he loses that leg, you can see it in the camera. If he loses that leg, he will fall off the front. McPherson straight to his feet, hustles. Silvas follows. Did a good job. Silvas looking over to Coach Jeremy Davenport for a little advice. Coach Jaden Davenport also over there, encouraging their young wrestlers. Guthrie's full of youth. They've got a lot of experience in their sophomore class. A lot of the kids that wrestled last year were freshmen. Some of the sophomores now are juniors. There are some seniors on this team, but really a strong young crew for the Blue Jays. Marcus McPherson stayed busy on top. Silvas hanging over that arm on the front. That lazy hangover bar arm has no control, and McPherson was able to feel that and was able to get loose. Wyatt kind of loosened himself up, and so McPherson got out. McPherson here now on a single leg, but Silvas with those super heavy hips. Even though he's the lighter wrestler, you can see his legs are just as big, so he's got super heavy hips. When his top end grows into that bottom end, he's going to be a big kid. His brother wrestled at 190 last year. He's north of 220 now, and looks like Wyatt's probably going to get to 220 a lot quicker than his big brother did. So he's going to be a big kid as he grows into that. But right now, Marcus McPherson's got a little bit of size on him, a little bit taller. But right now, it's Wyatt Silvas on top. If he can keep from draping over that arm, there he goes. He's got a half now. He's going to run this half. McPherson able to peel it off wisely. Silvas, he gets that elbow high again. He'll get that half. He'll get that half. He's got the elbow high. If he'll run that elbow high, he's going to get this. He's going straight over the top. McPherson's trying to peel, but Silvas is running that elbow high. He's got to run to the head with his hips. If he puts his hips on that elbow, but he wasn't able to do it. McPherson was able to peel it off. Just didn't quite execute that fully. He was 90% there. McPherson was able to dodge a bullet on that one. Choice is going to go. And it's Silvas' choice. It's been all neutral. It's been all top. Coaches were going to put him down, but changed their mind, and they put him back on his feet. He's up 6-1. Back on their feet here. Silva's able to push McPherson around, pushed him out of bounds. You can't take but 2 or 3 steps backwards, especially against Jerry Koontz. He's a freestyle referee. Freestyle does not allow you to back up much, or they will bang you for stalling, and that's what Wyatt was able to push him back, and McPherson took too many steps back, got warned for stalling. Doesn't cost him any points yet. You get a warning, and then after the warning, you will get you'll lose a point if you continue, to stall or whatnot. Now Silva's not as willing to get underneath the bigger man as he was when he was fresh, but wisely. He doesn't have to shoot here. He doesn't have to score. McPherson is the one that needs to take the risk. So Wyatt can hang out here in these ties. He can keep pushing and battling. If he gets an opportunity to score, he should, but he definitely doesn't need to force it. McPherson, for his effort, he needs to start hand fighting and try to score. But Silva sitting on that high C. I told you earlier, that's one of his best shots. Was able to get in on that high C, and McPherson now able to use that size to flip him off. Coaches on the side are going to want him to cut him. That's going to put Wyatt up 7-4. McPherson's going to have to take Silvas down to tie this match. And again, Silvas doesn't have to do anything. McPherson's going to have to. Silvas doesn't have to do anything. He's just got to be smart, but he's circling hard. These Guthrie wrestlers are taught one thing, and that's to score points. And Silvas could not help himself. He had to get around behind, and that's what they do with 17 seconds left to go. Silvas up 10-4 over Marcus McPherson. It looks like he's going to win this match for the Blue Jays. What a match. McPherson made that interesting there at the end. Starts slowly, just, was all Wyatt Silvas early on, and McPherson slowly started, working his way back. And even there down at the end, he kicks through, tries a roll, trying to make something happen for his effort. But Wyatt Silvas ultimately for the Blue Jays in his first varsity match as a sophomore picks up the win for the Blue Jays. Nicely done for Wyatt Silvas.
And up next at 285 pounds, wrestling for the Blue Jays, Tyler Powell.
T. Powell for the Blue Jays is taking on Logan Cook of Perry. At heavyweight, 285 pounds is the max allowed in this division. Neither one of these athletes are going to be there. Logan Powell hits a headlock on the edge, and Tyler Powell able to, he landed straight on his head, got his hips out, got out of bounds, and was able to keep from getting scored on. Logan Cook hit a nice headlock there, but T. Powell did a good job of just wrestling there on the end and not just giving up that headlock position. Now Logan Cook in on that takedown. Looking at the Logan Cook weighed in at 219 pounds, so nowhere close to that heavyweight limit. And Tyler Powell weighed in at 208 pounds, so a slight deficit, but not as big as you sometimes see at heavyweight. T. Powell does a nice job scrambling here. Holy cow! Wow! Wow, dead to rights. Logan Cook hits a nice low-level single. He did everything right, did a nice job catching that single, and Tyler Powell scrambles out of there like a lightweight. Gets himself on top, and now here's a Peterson. Logan Powell catches a Peterson. And T. Powell almost gave up 5. Somehow scrambles out and only gives up 2. Logan Cook, a very crafty heavyweight. This kid can wrestle. Low-level singles, Peterson rolls. Now he's running a nasty head lever. This heavyweight can move. Tyler Powell scrambling well. He's up 3-2, but definitely on bottom. A head lever. Now he's got a hammer lock on his back. He's going to run this to a half. He should have kept that hand. And he let it go. That allowed everything to loosen up, and now he's got Tyler tightened back up here. Tyler, this is a tight half. Elbows high, tight half. That's trouble. Logan Cook is going to come away with the fall. That's going to turn this duel into a 27 for Perry, but your winners, 42 points for the Blue Jays. That's going to call it a night, folks. We are going to recap this duel shortly. I'm going to hop on the mic and make a few announcements in-house, and then I will be back for the post-fight show. I want to thank my friend to my left running our score clock, Wager Cruz, our cameraman Lance Evans over there on the camera getting all the great shots tonight. I want to thank him for always being here for us. Chris Wilder was over here on the aux helping me out so I didn't have so much to do, keeping all the intros in-house. Your Blue Jays, 42 points over the Perry Maroons, 27 points. It was a nice duel, some back and forth matches, but ultimately the Blue Jays had too much to offer. We want to thank our fans from Perry for coming out and supporting this duel, for supporting their Maroons and watching this duel. Want to thank them for tuning in as well. It's been a great night of wrestling, a good way to open up the season for Oklahoma's finest. I will come back with a recap shortly, and we will take it from there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for coming out tonight and supporting our Blue Jays. We also want to thank Carry Electric for sponsoring tonight's duel. Thank you, Carry Electric, for always supporting your Blue Jay athletes. Remember, folks, next week there is another home duel here in Guthrie, and we will see you then.
Hey, slow with it, slow. Go slow, go slow, go slow.
All right, folks, we are going to cut to a different camera angle as we watch these guys tear down and do all the work. I'm going to sit here and talk, and that is what my wife says I do well. What a duel tonight. Guthrie is kicking off this season with a young crew, but like Coach said last week, a much better crew than most people will think on paper. We had a young team last year. Even though we had some stellar seniors that got graduated, we also had some freshmen that were quietly working to get better, and we saw them tonight as sophomores really pull through and become key members of this team. And again, we've got a senior class this year that is loaded as well. And so, we've got Matt Gyrus, we have Matt Mahalik. Sorry, Matt. We have Matt Mahalik. We have Bryson Hall. We've got Caden Herendine, all guys that we would expect to get medals at the state tournament. We've got some others on here as well that are very poised to get there. And so what a great showing tonight. The blue and white duel was on Monday night. We had a great turnout. There's a great crowd. You can see everyone behind me exiting out. What a great in-house product it was. We want to thank everybody that goes back and watches this duel that was actually here live. Thank you guys for coming out, supporting your Blue Jays, and thank you to the Perry Maroons. They had a big crowd over on the other side as well. They travel well. It was probably an hour and a half drive to Guthrie, and they all made that trip down I-35 to support their wrestlers. Such a deep history of wrestling in Perry, so I'm not surprised to see that group come down, but we do want to thank them for coming down. Hopefully they make it home safe and all that. And for everybody tuning in tonight, I want to thank you for that as well. So this duel really kicked off. It kicked off with the junior high. I want to start there. Those boys at the junior high picked up a big win over Perry. I would say, honestly, last year we don't win that duel. And this year, just the improvement that those coaches have made with those athletes at the junior high has been good. It has been impressive. It has been productive. And so we want to thank those coaches down there, but also those athletes are down there putting in the time. They are transitioning from, that junior high space is a transition from Little League to high school. That's what junior high is for. It's, basically going from the minor leagues to the big leagues. And that's what the junior high is supposed to be doing. And they're doing a nice job of that. We're seeing real wrestling going on from those kids, real single legs, real rides on top, real escapes on bottom. And they are being productive. And so my hat's off to that junior high. Really kicked things off tonight, really to just carry over into the high school. Is that, we weren't able to broadcast that duel. We had some technical difficulties. Thank the Lord we were able to get those fixed up for this main duel, and we're able to bring that to you. But with that said, the high school kicks it off at 106 pounds with Joel Landry against Riker. It's MC. I'm sorry. I get caught up with these coaches' spelling. Sometimes it's hard. It's not their spelling that's the problem. It's their handwriting. But Riker MC, and they had a great little matchup, kind of a back and forth. Joel Landry was in that match at some point. Really, Riker came out and kind of took command, and Joel came back and started to make that a match. At one point on the far side of the mat, he caught him on his back, and I was getting excited, thinking like, holy cow, he might pull off an upset here. Wasn't able to do it, but I will say Landry has shown quite a bit of improvement. He did a great job on bottom, working his way up, staying out of trouble, and ends up, man, right at the end, Riker MC, I think there were 2 or 3 seconds left on that clock. Riker MC was able to pick up a fall. And to his credit, Riker, just a solid kid. He did everything right. He did get caught on his back once, getting a little lackadaisical. But other than that, very solid kid. And Joel Landry, who, started wrestling last year, made a match of that. And ended up getting caught there at the end, but did a great job. I'm trying to salute my cameraman over here. He did a good job tonight, Lance. Nice work. So, but yeah, we had a stellar crew tonight. Wager Silvis, my son, he started on the clock tonight. This was his first night on the clock, filling in for Connor Phillips, who normally does that for me. So, but they did a good job tonight. Lance always does a great job on that camera, so it was a great crew. Want to thank them. But we'll move on to 113 pounds. Connor Martin. I was hoping to get to see Connor wrestle tonight. He wrestled at the duel. On Monday night at the blue and white duel, but did not have a match tonight. So we'll look forward to seeing him hopefully next week. Hopefully they'll have a 13-pounder that we can compete against. At 120 pounds, Caden Herendeen took on Tucker Vollmer. And really, Tucker was a tough kid, did what he could. Caden Herendeen, just a Caden, sorry, trying to talk to Coach. He wants to come in and do an interview. But Caden Herendeen, just last year's state champion, moving up to 19. Hasn't always been the biggest size athlete, and over the summer finally has hit that growth spurt. He grew into 119 very nicely, weighed in at 119 tonight. So he's weighing what he should. He's put on some good size, and boy, he hadn't lost any of his speed, any of his skill. Came out and did tonight what he was supposed to do to a younger Tucker Vollman. As a senior, 2-time state champion, that's going to be a lot for that's going to be a big bite for anyone to try to take. And Tucker was game for that, but ultimately, Caden Herendeen just came out, was dynamic like he is, and did what he was supposed to do. At 126 pounds, Aiden Smith takes on Carson Avery. Carson Avery's a tough wrestler. You could tell right away he came out, gets an early takedown, and really sets the tone for that match. But to Aiden Smith's credit, Aiden, as a sophomore, like I say, he wrestled early last year, but didn't wrestle the entire season. Kind of came out early and was trying to lose weight while he was growing, and so was up around this 126-pound weight. But we had some kids there that he was couldn't make varsity on, so he ended up kind of having to sit out the most of the season, and so didn't get as much experience as he may have otherwise. But really, we saw a lot of good things out of Aiden early on last year, and really more of that because Carson Avery, this kid can wrestle. He was a tough opponent. And Aiden Smith, he was out there wrestling. He was out there fighting till the end. He was out there trying to score points, giving him everything he wanted, stayed in that match till the end. And that's what you want to see out of a young wrestler like Aiden. And again, he's filling out nicely. He's got some big legs. He's got some stocky arms. He's real quick. I think we're going to see great things from Aiden Smith in the future. And I don't mean as a junior and senior. I think in the future of this season, as Aiden starts to wrestle into that style, wrestle into that size that he's put on, and get some of that experience that he wasn't able to get last year. I think as this year goes on, Aiden's only going to get better, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do at that regional tournament. I think he's going to be somebody that we can get into that state tournament. Aiden looked good tonight, but Carson Avery was just a little bit too much for him at this point. So 132, Matt Mahalik takes on Aiden Farrell, and Matt Mahalik looked as good as ever. Like I say, put in a good off season. He's been coming in during football. He's been, obviously he wrestles jiu-jitsu all the time, or he grapples jiu-jitsu all the time, but really came out tonight and really just controlled the whole match. Hit a really nice double leg. We'll see you, Lance. Take care, bud. Did a nice double leg to set the tone of the match. He wrestled tough on top, scored a bunch of points. Just does what you would hope a senior leader on this team would do. He did that. Again, Matt, just a great student athlete, but also turning into a great wrestler as well. I'm really excited to see one of his goals last year was to make it to the state tournament. He fell short slightly, but the next week I saw him, and he told me, he said, I'm getting a medal at state next year. So that's been on his mind, that's been on his heart, and that's been in his goal list since that state tournament last year. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for him this season. 138 pounds, Luke Lyons came out as dynamic, as violent, as aggressive, and as confident as I have ever seen him. He took on Hayden Balderson, and against a similar opponent last year, that match probably would have went the distance. But whatever is going on with Luke Lyons right now, I am a fan of 100%. He came out on fire, aggressive, chain wrestling from top position. He gets Balderson on his back and won't let him up. He won't let him up. He just grinds from one thing to another, and really puts this thing down. Luke Lyons, aggressive, and I love it. I've been a fan of this kid since he was 5 years old, and I've been waiting on the day that he gets his chance to just reach his full potential, and I can smell it. It's right there. So I am so excited to see Luke's junior season. He looked dynamic and phenomenal tonight. At 144 pounds, Thomas Jairus shows up a month ago to try to practice with the wrestling team. And after a couple of days of practice, the coaches realized, like, hey, this kid's going to make our varsity squad. He's really good. And so he's still trying to find the wrestling in his jiu-jitsu, but takes on Riley Schlegel, who Riley, for his part, I believe he was probably a newer wrestler as well. And Riley did a good job staying off his back, staying out of big trouble. He did a good job staying in the positions that he knew he was supposed to be in. He did a good job staying there and staying out of trouble. But man, Thomas Jairus hits a big double leg. He transitions to a single, gets a finish, does an amazing job for a first-year kid. Looked very, very good. I'm excited to see. He's a sophomore, and so he's friends with a couple of kids on the team, and so he's going to try to come out and try this wrestling thing a lot like his brother did, and it was fun to watch. I think that's going to be a kid to keep your eye on for sure. This season he's going to win some matches, and then next season, I don't know, he's just going to keep getting better. So that's going to be fun. 150 pounds, Aiden Harden took on Strauss Karches, who I don't know if he's the best wrestler on Perry's team, but he's one of them. That kid was tough. Aiden Harden, as a freshman, kind of got his introduction to high school wrestling, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen at that weight. 150 pounds, there's going to be a lot of good wrestlers. There's going to be a lot of good upperclassmen wrestlers in the state of Oklahoma especially, and Strauss Karches is definitely one of them. And Aiden ran into that buzzsaw. There was a couple moments there where, Strauss was trying to just take him down, kind of let him up and all that. Aiden dives in on a high C and says, "I'm not going away. I'm gonna make this a match." And he did. He fought. He did what he was supposed to do. He tried to score points where he could. A little bit outmatched there, but that's going to happen. The experience Aiden's going to get though this season as our 150-pounder, it's going to pay off. I talked about a lot of the sophomores we have this year that have experience. That's not a common thing. We have sophomores with experience. Well, Aiden's a freshman this year, and next year he's going to be a sophomore with experience. So that's going to be another one to keep your eye on. 157 pounds, Samuel Murillo took on Zane Ruth. A little bit outmatched here. Samuel, very new to wrestling. I think he came out a month or so ago. Coaches are needing someone to fill in. He said, "I'll give it a shot. Why not?" So he goes out and takes on Zane Ruth, and really Zane clearly a tough kid, good wrestler. And puts him away with the pin. 165 pounds. Clayton Carey and Andrew Kukuk wrestled an exciting match, a fun match that really, in the second period, I was saying as that period was running out, I was like, this could come down to a takedown. And then, then he ends up, Clayton Carey dives in and gets that takedown on the edge and rides out the period, gets back on top, and finishes riding out on top. So that match did come down to a takedown, a very even match. But, Kukuk was not able to get out on bottom. Even in the third, the coaches put him down. Kind of a tough spot to make a decision. You need that point to escape so that you can get the takedown to win. But, man, you're not having any luck on bottom, so are you better off trying to get two takedowns? I don't know. You don't have much time to make the call. They made the call. And probably as tough as Clayton is on top, Andrew looked like he was a little bit worn down, and man, Clayton, that kid's a hammer, and again, a sophomore. He's a sophomore that's poised to have a great season at 165. Bryson Hall comes out at 175, took on Hunter Minor, and Bryson, one of them senior leaders that, I mean, he came out and did what you're supposed to do against a younger, newer wrestler. He scored points. He took care of things. He took care of business, looked as sharp as he could. I'm looking forward to seeing Bryson in a match at his level with some competitive guys. It's really fun to watch him wrestle the higher level guys. When you get two guys built like him, that move like him, that wrestle like him, man, it gets fun to watch. And Bryson's definitely one of those guys. One of the best kids in the state of Oklahoma right now at 175 pounds, and he will prove that as this season goes on. 190 pounds, Roston Usselton took on Cash Warren. Cash Warren came out, got a takedown. Roston comes back, gets takedowns. That was a back-and-forth match. Might have been the best match of the evening, and they get things going, and that was a good time. They both wrestled well, but Roston comes up a little bit short. Just really comes down to those takedowns. Cash Warren just looked savvy enough, looked old enough, just looked tough enough to kind of figure out a way to win there, and really that might have been the best match of the night. Very back and forth. Those two guys, I think if they wrestled 5 times, you might get 5 different results. So nice job for Roston, though. It was a good performance for his first night out, and again, he's going to be in any match he's in. That kid's tough as nails, and so I look forward to his season as well. Again, he's a sophomore. Wyatt Silvis shows up at 215 pounds, weighed in at 189 pounds, and he takes on Marcus McPherson, who weighed every bit of 215. Wyatt Silvis took him 4 tries. He hits 2 outside singles and finally finishes his third to get that takedown. He gets a high C that should have finished, but McPherson was able to throw him off. Silvis gets a little too high on top with that bar arm ride, and McPherson gets out. Then he starts to make it a match. It goes back and forth. He takes him down at the end. Silvis gets out, gets a takedown. So a back and forth 215-pound match that ended up being pretty fun, but Wyatt Silvis gets out of there with the victory. And again, sophomore. We got sophomores on this varsity squad that are wrestlers. And so this is an exciting time for us. So 285 pounds, Tyler Powell started wrestling last year, wrestled all summer, gets in some amazing scrambles. He ends up getting caught on his back and pinned by Logan Cook. But really, he did a lot of good things, A, for a new kid, but B, the headlock on the edge, most guys would have been laying there getting pinned. T-Powell gets out with no points awarded. Then he gets hit in a low-level single, scrambles out and ends up on top, gets caught in a Peterson, and somehow gives up a reversal and doesn't give up 5. Most guys end up giving up, well, they end up giving up 6, I guess, these days. But anyway, Tyler Powell did a great job just in his scrambles. He looks different than he did last year. He's lighter, he moves better, he wrestles better. A lot of improvement out of Tyler Powell just in this offseason. So that's an awesome just development, if you will. So I'm going to bring in Coach Davenport here in just a second, if I can. You guys will have to bear with me for just a moment. And we'll see if we can't get this post-fight interview with him. We're going to try to do this thing as that. And we'll bring in Coach Davenport. We're going to have to share this mic tonight, Coach.
We're sharing? Okay.
Yeah, we got to share.
That's fine.
All right. Our other microphone ran out of battery. So, Coach, it is a opening night. Perry comes to town.
Oh, yeah.
And you pick up a massive victory over a dynasty of a program. Just give us your initial thoughts on the duel.
You know, it went really well. The boys did exactly what we asked for them. Our older guys had to go up there and get bonuses, and our younger guys had to go step up. You know, we're missing a few guys from football, and so we had a lot of guys that had to come in and step up or go up a weight class, and they did exactly like we were supposed to do. And we, I couldn't be more proud of the way that our guys went out here and performed tonight with the first duel at home. We got the jitters. Always will, and they went out there and they performed. We know what we need to work on moving forward, and we're just going to keep on preparing one day at a time. And I mean, doing Perry and their history that they have in this sport, you know, you're always going to be in a dogfight, and we expected that. And came out and they had some tough guys, and you know, our guys just had to step up, and they did exactly that.
So you have, I was looking as I was going through that, I guess that review at the end of the match. Kind of two things going on here. One, you've got a senior class. You got 3 seniors that really, they performed tonight.
Yes.
You had, Caden Harney came out, did what he's supposed to do. He's bumping up a weight, 119 pounds now. Looks as good as he ever did at 112. Matt Mahalik comes out after a great season last year and just looks better. He's been off all summer and he looks better than he ever has.
Oh, yeah.
Dominant match. And then you end up with, Bryson Hall again, just dominant from your seniors, from your leaders. Talk about those kids and how excited you are for the season. Those 3 guys are the heart of this team. They've been through this, for 3 years now. They know what the expectation is of this program, of what we expect from these guys. Caden, he's a two-time state champ for a reason, and he went out there and proved it. It's one thing that he moves so fast. I got talking to him down there that, especially with the new point rule, that techs are going to come a lot faster. Yeah. So we have to be able to navigate the match through, and he did a really good job of noticing that I'm up by 11 and there's still a minute. I have to go get the pin because the next takedown is probably going to lead to a tech. And that 1 point goes a long way in these duels. Matt, that I can't speak, enough about that kid. He does a great job in the room. He works his butt off. Last year, first legit year starting, becomes a qualifier, trusted the process, and he goes in and gets works. And I kind of talked to him as well down there. We don't have to force things, but you can tell he had the jitters. He's very eager to go, and he was very, in and out. And I said, hey, we just got to slow things down. But, those jitters are always going to be there with the first match. And then Bryson Hall, being the animal that he is, it's hard to wrestle guys like that kind of, don't do much, and they clam up, and, they're trying not to get pinned. And with those guys, he did exactly what he needed to do. He's like, I'm not going to get anywhere on top, so I'm just going to go and have a takedown fest and go get a tech fall, which was huge, especially leading to the end of the duel with 3 extra weights. Navigate that, the lead that we would have, and then try to adjust accordingly, knowing that we're missing a heavyweight. We're going to have to bump some guys and knowing what to do from there. So getting that bonus was huge from him. All right, so I'm going to go back one to the juniors.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about one junior.
Okay.
Luke Lyons came out the way that kid's had ability forever. And he's been a dog I've been watching since he was a little kid. And tonight was the first time I'm excited for that kid. He looked like a hammer. He gets this kid on his back. That kid didn't want to go away.
No.
He would not let him up.
Yep.
He wouldn't let up. He was grinding. He was going. Talk about Luke Lyons. How excited. He's only a junior. You're going to have him a whole nother year, and he's really coming out hard today.
Luke is one of the hardest workers. He wants to be good. He loves this sport. He's trusting the process. He's been a starter since he's a freshman, and he has taken every single day, had a plan to eat every single practice, and now, he's reaping the benefits right now. He's reaping it, and it's awesome to see him come out and battle the way he is. He's now animal. It's kind of crazy when it first started out when he was a freshman. Mat wrestling in the top bottom was one of his worst positions, and that's actually became one of his best positions now.
Yeah.
He's night and day difference on top. He is mean. He goes out there and punches crossface, and he buries people. He's tough on bottom. No one can hardly turn him, and he's finding his shots on his feet, and he's mean with his hands. And right there, he's mean with his clubs. He moves people well. He finds openings, and I'm really excited to see where this year goes with him. He's been very close each year for making the state tournament. I have no doubt that he's going to do that this year.
Yeah. After what I saw, if that's his season, he's going to get a medal this year.
We're only going to get better. We keep on. We know what we need to work on. Just a few little things we need to clean up. And once we do that, that guy is going to be a scary, scary dude to wrestle at that 138 pound division. So he's out for blood. He's out to prove a name for himself. And he's going to go out and he's going to shock a lot of people this year.
Yeah. So moving down again, so we went seniors, juniors. I want to talk about your sophomore class. I don't know that I've seen a team here in Guthrie that's really going to rely on their sophomore class as really the backbone for the point scores. You've got studs that are going to do what they're going to do, but you're not going to win duels with just 3 studs. You got to have a backup lineup. That meat of the lineup. The meat of your lineup is sophomores. Yeah. And they're all dogs.
They are all.
You got dogs with experience.
Yes.
Just tonight, most of them kids were in matches against tough kids, found ways to win, grounded out. Even the kids that lost wrestled good, did a lot of good things. Their experience from last year clearly carrying over.
Yes.
Talk about this sophomore class and what they're going to be capable of.
We're going to have about 5 or 6 sophomores in the lineup this year. 4 of them being starters as a freshman. We're adding 2 more to the lineup. They are our heart. They're the meat of our lineup because they're the most. It's one of the best classes we've had come through Guthrie since I've been here. And I mean, they were wrestling like juniors and seniors. They are wrestling like they've been doing this in the high school level for a while now. And surprisingly, we're still missing 2 of them. You know, we still got Rowan and Colton still on the football field trying to win a state championship. So, you know, we're going to add 2 of those guys. But I would say probably, you know, Clayton's had a lot of growth, coming a long way. He gets to wrestle, has the benefits of wrestling with Bryson every single day, and he is just doing a great job. Hoping to get him on the podium, maybe even in the finals this year if he keeps on wrestling the way he's wrestling. He wrestled a tough kid tonight, and he went out there and got the job done, which is amazing. But I would say probably the one that impressed me the most was Thomas.
Yeah.
You know, Thomas is one of those guys that had to step up because we're missing Colton and we're missing Rowan. So he's one of those guys that, hey Thomas, we need you here. Yeah. And he, you know, faced that head on, going out there, got a major, which from a guy, and that's his first wrestling match in, I want to say probably ever.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean, he wrestled in an exhibition match on Monday night.
You know, that's a little inter-squad duel, and it's a little different than what the actual live thing is. And so I'm the happiest with him with this duel because we didn't know what to expect. And he's like, you know, some of those things down there, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just going with it. And I was like, hey, sometimes that's wrestling.
How nice is it when a kid just walks into the wrestling like, hey, can I just come down and roll around a little bit?
Yeah. And then now look at him, and now he's stepping up and winning his matches and getting bonus, nonetheless. So it's great having him.
Yeah, that was fun to watch him compete. And really, so going down to your freshmen, you did have a couple freshmen in the lineup today that, you know, didn't win matches. But again, I look at it, you know, the sophomores this year, you know, they started out in the same spot last year.
Yeah.
And by the time the end of the year came along, these kids are wrestling with some of the best kids in the state. Yeah. Now they show up as sophomores, winners.
Yeah.
I mean, this freshman class has got some kids in it that can wrestle.
Oh, yeah, they do. And, you know, someone was down there wrestling junior high getting mat time. The freshmen, we have, you know, Aiden Harden went out, probably wrestled their best kid. Didn't show fear. He went out there and he wrestled hard, and he's just going to take things day by day and trust in the process and don't get down on himself and just keep on pushing forward. And he's going to be a phenomenal wrestler. We had Connor Martin in the lineup at 113. He's a freshman, and sadly, like, you know, he put a lot of work down there to make weight, and then it sucks because he doesn't get a match. But, you know, he did exactly what we needed him to do, which got down to 13 and went out there and was prepared to wrestle, and just so happened that, you know, they didn't have it, and that's what sucks. That's wrestling in a duel. But, you know, he wasn't upset. He was happy to do anything he needed to do for the team. That's what you want from these young guys, is to be willing to, you know, do what you want and do it openly and just be like, hey, I'm here to do what's best for the team. And that's what Connor showed, making weight. And, you know, it's like we have a lot of them, and they're going to do really good. I'm really happy with the freshman class that we have right now and what they're in motion. And honestly, Sam Murillo. Yeah. Like that guy, like has 1 year wrestling experience under his belt, and we had to throw him out here in the big lights. And he was like, I'm locked in, I'm ready to go. And he, again, wrestled a really tough kid that's, you know, been in it, and he showed a lot of heart.
Yeah, so I'll keep moving down the line into the junior high. Junior high competed before. We weren't able to put it on the broadcast, but they came out and won a duel against Perry, which, you know, I said in the recap that I don't think that our junior high beats Perry last year. Yeah. And this year, they pretty much handled them. Similar score to what the high school did. Yeah. Like, how excited are you for that program? I mean, it seems like, you know, they are coming along. It's a different thing than we've had in the past.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of growth. You know, last year they had three new coaches in there starting out. They're still trying to, you know, figure things out. And then this year, they know they have a plan, and they are sticking to their plan in the room, and they are, you know, beating the basics in, staying in good position, having a plan to each kid on what they are looking for in a match. And it really shows what they were doing. Everyone knew what they were looking for.
Yeah.
You know,
that was very clear.
Yes, we wanted a high C. We wanted to get some kids. We wanted our double. We were punching our halves, going to our barbed wires. I mean, they knew exactly what they wanted. And then the fight that those kids have, I don't think we've had a complete junior high that literally has just the willpower of just don't want to quit. I mean, some of them are out there was taking some lumps, and they were still battling, looking to score points and trying to go bury a guy and win. And that's all you can ask for, is never give up, and keep on pushing forward. And that's what those junior high kids are doing, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah, so there's, I guess, another exciting thing. Yeah, that's a lot of seventh graders in that class.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have some good kids coming up
Yeah.
next year, but still seventh graders, and then there's a train coming behind them
Oh,
too. So
yeah.
you got to be excited for the future. Now, I was looking up here. I try to look in my screen and see the crowd behind. I can't always get a good look when I'm doing the broadcast, but we had. Our Little League is normally in-house and in tow tonight. They had to have practice tonight. They're trying to wrestle this weekend. We were off on Monday, so that we decided to have practice. But you still had a pretty packed house here in Guthrie on a Thursday night for wrestling.
Had a really good crowd, and I think it's just going to keep getting bigger. A lot of people are, still in that football mindset, which I understand. Like I said, we're in the playoffs, and we're still trying to go win it. So, I just know it's just going to get bigger. But like I said, on the blue and white duel, this community is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is absolutely fantastic. They support their sports. They love athletics. They love these kids. They love watching these kids go out and compete with, the energy that they have been and always wanting to win. And I know this town loves winners, and we glad we got to, get them a dub tonight.
Yeah.
And keep moving forward. And I mean, I am super happy with this town and the way they support this program, from top to bottom, from youth league to high school. I mean, this community is fantastic.
Yeah. Last thing I want to ask, just on next week, big week next week, more duels, more home duels, bunch of home duels this year. That's going to be a lot of fun. But what's next week looking like, and what do we got to look forward to?
Oh, we got Comanche on Thursday. They're another tough 3A team. They have a great program down there, great head coach. That was a UCO national champ that's leading that helm, and they're going to be a tough program to go and a tough team to go wrestle. But we're going to wrestle them on Thursday. It's just going to be high school, because they're going off to the same tournament that we will be going off to on Friday and Saturday, which is Mid-America up in Enid, a national tournament, our biggest tournament and probably our hardest of the whole year. And we're going straight into it right off the bat and start of the season. So.
What do they call that? Baptized by fire?
Yes, I mean it's going to be. These kids are going to be coming back tired, because they're going to get about 8 matches in, and it's against some of the toughest competitions in the United States. Teams from Texas, Utah, Colorado, Kansas. I mean, a lot of teams come to this, and we really just got to prepare and get ready to go to war. And that's what these kids, they're not afraid to go to war, and I think they showed that tonight, and they're just going to keep on, getting better and pushing through.
Yeah, so I was looking out in the crowd tonight as well, and I think I counted 6 or 7 of your old wrestlers here. Everybody's coming back. A lot of those kids are in college. Some of them local, so that's nice, But a bunch of kids coming back wanting to, still be attached to the program. It's got to feel good as a coach seeing those kids coming back.
It makes me the happiest seeing them guys go on to succeed and do great things in college, but then also come back and support this, because they are this program.
Yeah.
This program would not be where it's at if it wasn't for them. I looked out there, saw, Eli Kirk, Braden Hall, Jake Carey, Wesley. I mean, Seth
Seth was here, yeah.
Seth, he was before I came here.
Yeah.
He was with Stevens, and he's still here supporting. I mean, it's phenomenal seeing those guys, the relationships you get to build with them, and seeing that they're eager to come back and support these young guys that they got to wrestle with, and just keep on building this program. Like I said, they are the foundation. They set the standard for what this program represents, and I'm happy to see them back and still supporting the Blue Jays.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we always talk, we could do this all night. Football, they always put on a time limit, but we sit around and talk wrestling. But I'll let you go, get out of here. They're not gonna kick us out of this gym. It's our
I mean,
gym.
they might, Chapel. I mean, he might shut the lights off on us.
Yeah,
Seems like he's getting antsy already.
He's getting antsy. He wants us out of here. So I'll let you go. But thanks. Another good night of wrestling.
Thank you so much,
we'll
Sean.
see you next week.
Yeah, go Blue Jays.
All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me here. A lot of technical difficulties tonight, but we were able to make it work. I thank all of you guys for tuning in. I want to give another special shout out to Cary Electric for supporting the duel tonight. They sponsored the duel for the evening, so that's awesome. For all of our great sponsors that come out and support this program, we really, really appreciate you guys so much. We can't do any of this without the sponsors, and it really is a big deal that people want to support this program, want to support this town, support these kids. It really is great, and we do appreciate it. I want to thank our boosters. They put in a lot of work making all this stuff happen, get these kids where they need to be. And again, we want to thank our coaches for all the work they put in. There's our Wager, you can come in here and say hi. Come in here and say hi. Give them a wave. There's our scorekeeper for the night. We're filling in for Connor Phillips. We missed Connor, but Wager did a nice job tonight. He kept up with it, so we want to Thank our crew tonight, Wager Silvis, Lance Evans, Chris Wilder. I'm Sean Silvis, and we will sign off for tonight. Thank you guys for checking out Guthrie News Page. Thank you guys for all of your support. We will be back in tow next week on Thursday night for another live broadcast on the Guthrie News Page. So check us out there. We'd like to see you in-house, but if you can't make it, just catch us on Guthrie News Page, and we will give you all of your Guthrie wrestling. Tonight, Guthrie Bluejays 42 over the Perry Maroons 27. It is a good night to be a Blue Jay, and go Blue Jays.